And we are live.
Hey guys, welcome to this crafty Cricut Q A. I know we have our Crafty Life Live information in the background, but that's just because we're in our normal setup for our video. And today we're going to be answering your Cricut questions. Now we hope to spend about an hour talking to you guys and answering whatever questions you might have. But there's a couple of things we want to say first. We want to do a little bit of housekeeping, okay? So here's how this works. Number one, we are not only promoting Cricut. We want you to know that other machines are awesome. We know that they are. It's just that Melody and I happen to own Cricut machines, and that's what we use. As a matter of fact, and I know this about Melody too, I've only ever had the Cricut, and I know that Melody at one point in time tried a Silhouette, so I do know she's done that too. But for today, we want to answer your Cricut questions. And the biggest reason for that is this. It's the holidays. You're asking Santa for something for your craft room. A lot of folks are talking about the Cricut Explorer, the Cricut Explorer Air, all the goodies that are out there. And we thought we might can answer a lot of those questions we get in message form right here on a live video. So don't feel like we're, telling you this is the only machine. There are great machines out there. Technology is amazing. Okay, so the first thing, well, not the first thing, but now I want to tell you this. Vince is here today. He's helping us moderate your questions. There is a chat available for you. If you will look at the right of your screen, whichever way I'm pointing is right, you look to the right of your screen, you'll see that you can join that chat. Now, by joining the chat, you'll be able to talk to us right away, and we can answer your questions right as we go. So first, let me say this. Let's say good morning to Melody. So, hey, Melody.
Hi, everyone.
Melody is getting her chat open. She's going to be looking at the questions as well. Now let's say hello to Vinny.
Hey guys, good morning. How are y'all today?
So Vince is going to be in the comments. He's going to be trying to write down your questions. So if we get chatty on a question here or there, we'll still have them, and he'll be able to answer them. Now listen, there are no stupid questions, and I mean this. I mean this in life, and I mean it in crafting. If you have a question, I promise you someone has the same question, and if you're brave enough to ask it, you'll be brave enough to get an answer for somebody else, because everybody has questions about the machines. Before we get started, I was going to see if Melody wanted to talk a little bit about the upcoming. By the way, I'm not a product expert for Cricut, so I don't know the kind of insider stuff that Melody does. So the cool thing is Melody is a product expert, and she can bring you the insider details. So we're going to let her do that a little bit real quick.
And I don't know if did you say that we are not, we don't work or are paid by Cricut?
I forgot to say that part.
Okay, I just want to make that sure. This is not sponsored by Cricut. I did not inform Cricut we're doing this. This is just something Maymay had suggested, that she has a lot of questions about Cricut on her channel. So she asked that we do this. So in no way is it sponsored by Cricut. I don't work for Cricut. Maymay doesn't. We don't get paid money from Cricut for anything. So, but I did just get the app to beta test. It's still in testing. There is no release date, but this is for the offline version of Cricut Design Space. It will be on mobile apps only. Right now, it's only on the iPhone and iPad, but Android is coming very soon, so the offline capabilities will be on Android as well. So I can answer a few questions about that, but I haven't had a huge chance to try it yet. I can't show it to you right now, but it's coming soon, and I'll be doing videos on it as soon as I can.
Tell us real quick what offline means, basically, because somebody will ask that question. What does that mean?
Offline means you do not need to be connected to the internet. You do need to be connected to the internet when you first sign in to the app. You have to download it to your phone or iPad or tablet when Android comes. And they say it takes about the same time as it does to download a movie. Now, that just depends on your internet speed and how quick that is for everybody. And once you do that, you can cut and design on your phone or iPad or tablet from anywhere without the internet. So if you're camping or on vacation, on an airplane, you can design on the Cricut, and you can cut with it.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
That's only with images that you own or subscribe to. If you have a subscription, you still have access to all of that. If you want to purchase an image, like right now in Design Space, if you wanted to purchase an image for 99 cents, you can. But on the mobile app, you have to be online to actually purchase. But you,
so what you're saying is, I want to make sure I understand this. You're saying SVGs I have purchased and already own on my computer.
yes.
Cricut cartridges that I already own and have uploaded to my design space.
Yes.
And if I purchase the subscription, it is totally available in offline.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Yes. It's what a lot of people have been wanting, that they don't want to be connected to the internet, or they don't have good internet where they live, or there's crops that don't have any Wi-Fi or internet service. So now you can do that there.
That, to me, that just takes it a whole nother level, because it keeps anyone from being excluded as long as you have the smartphone technology or the iPad technology. So there's still that little bit, but man, it's going to open a world up for a lot of people now.
Yeah. Vince, do you have any questions?
I do. Lisa wants to know, should she purchase extra blades with her Cricut? And she also wanted to know if Cricut will cut on glass.
I would, when purchasing the blades, I would get the German carbide blade. Those work in all the Cricuts. Those are the better blade that comes with the Explorer, but they also work in the older Cricuts. So they last longer and they're stronger. I also suggest you have a different blade for vinyl and a different one for paper.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that, Melody. That's kind of an interesting thing.
And fabric and things like that. Like people that sew, you have different scissors for fabric, and you never let your kids use them on paper because it dulls them. So if you have a certain one for vinyl and fabric or paper, and what I do is I mark them with nail polish on the end.
That makes perfect sense, because I kill my kids if they pick up my fabric scissors.
And Cricut has flex iron-on, and I just saw this morning in one of the Facebook groups. They were asking why it won't stick to the mat, and it wasn't cutting the vinyl. It was hard to weed out. Cricut recommends for the flex one to have a new blade and the strong mat. So and I did use the flex with the strong mat, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's never going to come off because those mats are so strong. It came off like butter. It was easy, and we did it really easy too, because I used a new blade, and then I also marked that blade for that iron-on. So I will continue to use that, and paper won't dull it, because paper does dull the blades.
And two things I want to make sure I say real quick. Number one, it will not cut glass. We want to make sure we say that.
It won't write on glass either. I think she might have asked that too. I don't think you can get glass. I guess it depends on how thin it is, if you can get it underneath the mat, but I don't think so, unless it's tiny thin, but I'd be afraid it would break if it's that thin. So
I wanted to try to show this, but when Melody, here we go, I think I can. I've got my Cricut. This is the blade housing. You see this? So here's what Melody's saying by a new blade. You don't have to have a housing for all your blades. Like, I don't want you to think you have to have one of these and mark this with your nail polish so you have them. You just need, do you have a blade, Melody? You just need to have the blade itself, not the housing. So we don't want to be confused about that. You have a blade nearby? You probably don't, because we didn't think about that. But the blades are just little, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're just blue tipped, right? They have a little blue plastic tip.
Well, the carbon ones, I think, are red tipped.
So not the housing. I don't want anybody to think, oh my gosh, I got to go buy a different housing and that different. No, just the blade itself. The only other blade I would recommend you have, and I'm really excited that now I have this one, is the deep cut blade. That's another blade I would purchase to have, and it does have a different housing, correct?
Yes, it does. And don't ever pay full price.
Oh, no. And nowadays, a lot of the craft stores are doing the Cricut stuff at 30% off and stuff, so that's really cool, because, you know, before, we couldn't use our coupons on them all the time. That was always kind of a big complaint, was not doing that. But nowadays, they're doing sales on the product, so that's what I would say.
I think right now at Cricut, it's 30 or 35% off most of their stuff. And then on top of that, you can use the code DOORBUSTERS, all capital letters, and get an additional 10% off the sale price and free shipping.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever paid shipping from Cricut. I don't think from Cricut.com I've ever paid shipping.
No.
Okay, Angelic is having some problems with her paper tearing when she after she's cut it, and the question that she's asking is, are the fonts are there fonts that are available where you don't have to reattach the centers of certain letters like D, A, or B? That was one of her questions.
Let me answer the font one first. There is a font, I think it's called Clean something. I don't know. George and Ken know from Craft Spy too. If I can, I'll try to get a link to that and put it in the description after the video. I can't think of the name of it, but it's like a stencil one. So the font, so the middle is connected. Or search stencil fonts, and you can download those and install them on your computer. Any font you install on your computer will be available in Design Space.
And offline.
Yes, if you have it on your mobile app. Now,
Right.
if you have fonts on your computer, those fonts may not be on your phone or your iPad.
Now, as for the paper tearing, I want to talk about this, and then I'm sure Melody will clear up anything I say incorrectly. That's the whole plan of today. Okay. For me, anytime my paper tears, I know I can tell you what it is, and it is that my mat has debris on it. It's almost inevitable that you can see like the blade is going through the cut and it's doing really good, and then it rips a section. Something underneath that paper impeded the blade so that it couldn't smoothly run over. So, and listen, you're going to think, no, my blades are clean. I clean them all the time or what have you. But I promise you, you won't probably even be able to feel it with your hand. There'll be something there, so you want to make sure you clean your mats. Now, I'm the worst about cleaning my mats, and my Cricut Explorer does not give me nearly the problems that my Cricut Expression did. Oh, Lord, I cut paper with a dirty mat all the time. Then the second part of that is, and I hear this from people in chat rooms and Facebook, that I want to show you this again because I'm going to be showing you this stuff all the time. Okay, here's the blade housing, right? You might look at this and go, there's no debris. There's no debris there. But this little piece gets pressed down for the blade to come out. Is that right, Melody? Am I right so far? And I can see paper all over my blade just looking at it. Little bits of paper when I look at it. So if there's a little debris on that, it can mess you up too. That's usually what gets me.
Yeah, and glitter gets stuck to that. And also, if you're doing a lot of vinyl, I've had vinyl stuck to it. And I just very carefully rub the end of my blade sometimes. And
you know what you can do with it?
What?
Do this. Watch. Let me show you. Okay. I have this little fluffy paintbrush. Really, really fluffy. Okay? I'm going to press this blade up, and I'm just going to clean it with this little fluffy paintbrush. That's not going to scratch anything. That looks good. I'm ready to cut, y'all. It's not going to scratch anything. It's going to be nice and easy and clean, and nobody gets cut. No damage.
Also, there's certain papers that don't cut as well. If it's a real fibrous paper, it doesn't always cut. There's some that we have purchased, and it just doesn't cut. So we stick to brands that we know will cut.
I don't want to call anybody out, and I'm not going to.
I don't either. So I'm not going to
tell you this. Those inexpensive paper packs at the craft store and Walmart paper. Now I'm talking, I don't want to say Georgia Pacific necessarily, because different weights of Georgia Pacific cut really well. But certain, like just paper, you got to be careful with that. If you get a nice quality paper, quality like a Close to My Heart or a Stampin' Up, you know, that kind of paper, how it's different. If you've never felt the difference in those qualities of paper, when you're at the craft store next time, find something that's a little off-brand or store brand, and then find something like a Me and My Big Ideas or a Die Cuts with a View paper that's the same weight, and just feel them. And you'll see what we mean by the paper being different. There is a difference in paper quality.
And Cricut paper is my favorite, and it was not always like, well, I guess I haven't tried it. When I tried it, it was my favorite, but I hadn't always used it until I I got some and it was unbelievable. It's really nice paper, and now they come out with new colors, and you can buy them like 20 sheets of one color at a time now. They used to just have multi-packs.
I've not tried Cricut paper yet. I'm going to.
All right. Well, hopefully,
I'm going to send you some.
Thank you.
Hopefully that'll answer Angelica's question. Deborah wants to know where does she need to sign up for the Android notifications?
That is, I don't remember. I think it was through the official Cricut Facebook. Or no, it was through Cricut.com site. I'll put a link to that in the description after the video. And if you don't see it after the video, place a comment asking for it. Make sure I remember.
Okay. And Lisa, she owns the Cricut Gold. And she wanted to know, does she need to go to the store to buy her cartridges, or can she just get them from the Cricut store?
I suggest go to Cricut.com and buy the digital cartridges. Somebody asked me last night, why would you buy the digital cartridges over the physical? My reasons are, it takes a lot of time to link the cartridges. I actually have a lot of cartridges I need to link for months now, and I haven't, and now I'm just buying them digital, and I'll put those in giveaways. Because right now at Cricut, you can get a lot of cartridges for $9.99 and $14.99. And then you can use the code 35digital, all capital, and get 35% off. And I'm also a Cricut Circle member, so I get an additional 10% off. So I'm getting cartridges for $5.84. So
you know what, Melody? That I think you and we're going to differ in places, and this is one of the places. I want to say this. I found it so super easy and quick to link my cartridges, because to be honest, I was afraid I was going to put a cartridge in and it was going to have to like cycle, getting all those images, but it's not like that at all.
No, it is really fast. But what I'm talking about is I have to open all the packages
right.
and then put them in. You know, doing one is really easy. It's extremely easy to do. But me, I'm thinking of opening all the plastic parts and I have a pile of them.
I agree with that. And I will say that I don't buy cartridges anymore either, because everything you need is in Design Space.
Yeah.
So if I can either buy it in whole or in parcel, I can buy just the image I want, or I can buy the whole thing. And like you said, the digital ones, okay, I'm a late night crafter, and I'll get an idea, and I'll be like, man, if I had that cartridge, but I live 45 minutes from a craft store that might even carry a Cricut cartridge, right? So I can just go on at midnight and do this project that I've seen somebody do that I wanted to replicate, and I don't have to go to the store. That's my favorite part about the digital cartridges. But to be honest, I love digital cartridges back when it was Cricut Craft Room, when I was using that with my expression. So I still did that too.
Yeah, I did too. And I have boxes of cartridges that I have to store. They're in storage. And I just can't get rid of them. So you also have to store them.
You see mine right here?
Real.
I have 4 left that I couldn't get rid of. I couldn't part with. The other ones I gave to Sam when I gave her the expression. But now she won the Cricut Explore Gold, so now she told me yesterday, the gold's not coming home for Thanksgiving. Now we just call it the gold.
Okay, next question up. Anthony is asking, what's the best way to clean a mat that's kind of lost its stickiness? Or is there a way?
Heck yeah. Hey, Tony, by the way. Okay, let me tell you what I do, and then I want to hear what Melody does. We'll both tell you. I go to my little sink, and I use some hand soap, just like I would use on my regular, my regular hands, not my special hands, just these. But I use the hand soap, and I just kind of rub it on there. But don't do this number. Don't scrub it or use anything abrasive, because you can clean the adhesive off. I have done that because old mats I've turned into cutting mats, so I could use the measurements, so you can clean it off. But you just rinse it off real good, run it through some I don't do hot water, because I find that loosens the adhesive up and makes it really easy to come loose. So I just use a kind of lukewarm water, and then I either put them in a dish drainer or stand them up to dry. And don't pat them with anything. Don't use a towel, don't use a lint-free, nothing. Let them air dry. That's how I find the best work for me.
I agree with Maymay, but before I do that, or before they get that bad, I use baby wipes on them. And baby wipes dry, like somebody said they didn't want to wait for the baby wipes to dry, but I use it like a minute after I do it, maybe 3 minutes. If I know I don't have a really sticky mat, I'll take one and just clean it with the baby wipe and wait a few minutes till I feel, at first it feels wet and it does not feel sticky and you think, oh my gosh, the sticky's gone. Well, as soon as it's dry, you can feel it sticky.
Hey, that's the same thing when you wash them in the sink. You're going to think, I have ruined this mat, but I promise you haven't. As long as you don't rub it with something like a paper towel, I learned that the hard way, or don't put any kind of thing on it to dry it. Let it air dry, and the sticky will come back. And you'll be surprised. You can take a mat that you put on your hand like this and lift up and your hand won't stick. Wash it, let it air dry, come back, and it will come right with you. You know, it'll stick really good. So I hope that's a good tip for your cleaning.
All right. Sherry wants to know, how do I cut a medium weight chipboard, excuse me, and the Cricut brand vinyl?
Chipboard, it depends on how thick it is. If you have the Cricut Explorer, you put your dial to custom, and then there's custom settings for chipboard, and I think it has light chipboard, medium chipboard, and heavy chipboard. You can also, if you feel it has not cut through, before you unload the mat, you can also hit that go button again, and it will cut the entire thing over again. But on chipboard, it's probably set to cut 2 or 3 times. So if you click that go button, it'll cut 2 or 3 times again. But you can stop it at any time and unload it if you know it's cut through.
And I want to tell you guys that on Wednesday on my channel, I will be doing, I was sent a Cricut Explorer Air to review, and they sent me the deep cut blade because I said that's one thing I wanted to test out. And so I will be showing you what the deep cut blade will cut, because I want to cut my mini album covers, and everybody has asked me before if it'll work, and so I'll be able to find out. So come to my channel on Wednesday. Maymay made it, by the way, on YouTube, and I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to cut all kinds of junk, whether it works or not. I'm going to show you. So, well, hey, Melody, hold on. That was an awesome tip about hitting go again. I didn't realize, I didn't even think about that. Explain that one more time.
Okay, once your Cricut is done cutting, the light to unload your mat will be blinking. That means to hit that button. Do not hit that button. So look at it and make sure it's cut. Now this is normally it cuts, but if you have some different material and you're worried about it getting through, or it doesn't look like it cut at all, just skip what it tells you to do, click the go button. And sometimes I have to click it again. Like I think I click it and then it'll light up, and then I think I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, I'll say God bless you.
Does cutting it make you sneeze, or is that just something that...
So then click the go button again, and it will just recut exactly where it was. Now, if you have unloaded it and loaded up again, it might not cut on the exact cut lines.
And what Sherry's saying is her vinyl just tears. So that's where I think she's having an issue. I don't know if it's just not making a clean cut or whatever, so it's just tearing rather than,
Also make sure that your mat is clean, like Maymay suggested earlier. And I always cut vinyl on the Vinyl Plus setting. There are little dots on the dial in between each setting. So I always go to vinyl and then go one after it. Now, a lot of people say go less if it's tearing, but I've always cut it on, if I had it, and it always cut nice and smooth. There's also a washi tape setting that if you're doing really intricate cuts with vinyl, like, because some people are trying to cut tiny, tiny, intricate, cursive, all these little things, and they have problems with that. But I've heard that the washi tape setting works wonderful for that. So you turn the dial to custom, and then you look up the washi tape setting.
I have found, and this is a tip for you guys that are using multiple different kinds of vinyl, if I'm using, for example, an Oracle, like a really thick, nice vinyl that I pick up from like Vinyl Expressions or whatever it's called, Expressions Vinyl, whatever that's called, I typically don't have to change anything, just put it on regular vinyl. But if I'm using something that's thinner, it's much like paper. Vinyl comes in different thicknesses and different stickiness, and I mean, you can kind of feel it. It's kind of a touch and feel kind of thing. But here's what I want to tell you, because this is why I think people get turned off from vinyl. Don't make this big project that you spend hours on, and the first time you ever try that new vinyl is on that project. Go into your computer. This is what I would do. Go into your design space. Make yourself a test file. Put some tiny, or 1 inch by something inch circle, scallop, or something that makes the blade do some work. Then save that for your test. And every time you have a new vinyl, cut that first. And if you need to adjust anything, you'll be able to see that then. So then you can say, okay, if I'm using Cricut vinyl, this is the setting I put Cricut vinyl on. If I'm using Oracle, I put it on this. If I'm using glitter, like HTV, it goes on this. You'll learn it over time, but don't put in some big project and just go to cutting. I think that's where people go, I'm throwing my hands up with this thing. But I mean, there's always, you can't decide what it's going to take to cut one product versus another, because they are not the same product at all, ever.
Okay, I hope I say this name right. Beatrice, if I didn't say that right, I apologize. I love you. I'm just learning. She has a question. She says, is there a way to make a shadow of a single layered image? She said that she knows there are other programs like Sure Cuts a Lot where she was able to make a single layer item have double layers, but is there something else that you guys recommend?
It depends on the image, and just some people don't know this, but some of the images have a shadow layer, but in the layers panel it's hidden. So when you're looking at the canvas, you don't see it. Look in the layers panel and see if there's another image with the eye pointed out, because it does that on all the shadow layers. It hides it for you automatically, and then you can unhide it and you'll have it. It depends on the image. Sometimes you can make get the base layer and size it just a little bigger. It doesn't always work, but it works on some of them. And then, like she said, there's Inkscape and some other things. I know people have asked Cricut to do that, and they're working on a lot of new things. So I don't have confirmation that they'll be adding that, but I think they will.
I think the biggest tip in that is, like you said, most people don't realize that when you import an image, or you choose an image to the mat, when you go over to your layers panel and you slide it up or down, you will typically see a layer that has the eye closed. And if that eye is closed, it's not open on your mat. Now, this is not for everything, but there are some images, like Melody was saying, where you can get that shadow layer and you didn't even realize it was there. Now, the other thing I would suggest, this is what I do. I went out to Crafts by Two because they did a video in Inkscape. I use Inkscape for everything. And they did a video showing how to create your own images with, like, I think they did 7 layers, 7 shadows before it was over with. There was a whole bunch of different layers that they showed you how to do. If it's a project that's really, really important, I would spend the time to learn how to do that in Inkscape. By the way, Inkscape is a free program. It's INKSCAPE. I use it religiously. I probably am on Inkscape every day. So don't be intimidated by that. And another reason not to be, there are millions of tutorials for Inkscape. And once you learn Inkscape and can manipulate your own SVGs, it won't even really matter to you what Design Space is doing, because you're going to build them out here and move them in there anyway. So that's why I think Design Space, but it's kind of links up to give you more versatility when you can use a program like Inkscape.
I also want to add, when you are searching Inkscape, there's lots of sites, and you can download lots of malware and viruses. You have to get Inkscape from inkscape.org.
Very good.
Make sure it's .org and not inkscape.com or anywhere else. And look at the page completely and make sure you're downloading the correct thing.
Hey, and I'll tell you this. If you're a Mac user, I want to make sure I tell you this. On my Mac in particular, I have to also download Quartz, but it will tell you when you get to inkscape.org, it'll tell you if you're a PC user or if you're a Mac user. If you're a Mac user, you got to download Quartz first. Don't let that frustrate you. Just take your time with it and read those instructions, and by the time it's over with, you'll be fine. But man, I was frustrated a lot trying to figure out Quartz for a long time.
All right, Bobby asked, what products do you use and how do you clean your Explorer?
That's a great question. Do you have an answer, maybe?
This is what I do. I open the doors up and I blow on it like.
Now that was informational right there. I believe that was helpful, Bobby. I know that made your day, buddy.
I use a baby wipe is the only thing I've ever used.
Maybe. Hey, I wonder if you could use canned air. I don't know.
Oh yeah, probably.
I mean, treat it like your technology. Treat it like any other technology, I would think. Clean it with like baby wipes. That would get ink and stuff off of it. But what was the question about what products we use to clean? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, he said, what products do you use and how do you clean your Explorer?
Probably baby wipes if I get ink or something on it. My pet peeve, mine is sitting behind me. You guys probably can't see it, but my pet peeve is taking a marker in and out and getting it on the edge. I cannot stand that. So, little baby wipe in there and clean that out.
All right, speaking of markers, Anthony wants to know what markers, other than the Cricut markers, work best when you're writing with a Cricut, and can you use gel pens in the Cricut?
Okay, I have to tell y'all this. Please, you will be so happy if you do this. Go to Stacey Williams' YouTube channel. She is Love That Bug. Just recently, I want to say last week, we'll try to find the video for this, and then Melody's going to have tips too, by the way. She was sent this product that this guy makes. Did you see this, Melody?
I don't think so.
Okay, I can't remember the name of them, but he makes them on a 3D printer, and what they do is they're made for the Sharpies, the fine line Sharpie, and something else. And here's the reason I say this. There's lots of markers you can make fit in that housing. There are lots of markers you can do that with. But what's cool about his is that little housing he makes, and I know other people do this too, it clicks in so it's perfectly fitted for these 3 markers. So when she did this video, the writing was stunning. It's the right pressure. It was the right, it was just like using the Cricut markers. It was stunning. So please go check that video, and we'll try to link it below or put it in the comments. But it's Love That Bug on YouTube, and her name is Stacey Williams. She's also a Cricut product expert. And I'm going to tell you something. Those things, and they're kind of pricey. They're like $8 a piece. But Santa's coming, and they can fit in your stocking.
Okay, Cheryl says she has a tip that she found when weeding really thin fonts. If she does the reverse version of that, it says she saved a lot of her hair with that.
Oh, reverse weeding.
Yep.
When I first heard about that, I'm like, they're doing it wrong. Because you're supposed to weed before you put the transfer paper on, normally. But reverse weeding is they put it all on, the transfer paper on before they weed, and then they weed it off the transfer paper.
That's amazing. I've never heard of that.
Because it sticks to the paper, so things aren't being messed up on the back of the vinyl where it's not sticky.
Even better, if you're blind like me and have over 40 vision, when you pull that off, you can see the cut so much better because it's so perfectly done. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to try that.
Okay, and Maymay, who did you say did the tutorial for Inkscape?
For Inkscape, it's Crafts by Two. That's George and Ken. That's Melody's roommates. They really do beautifully done and funny tutorials. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they're entertaining and informative. And they have a font series of 5 videos they did, and you need to watch them in a row so you learn continually, because sometimes they use what you taught in the last video.
And they're not the only ones. They're not the only ones I've watched on Inkscape. When I first got into Inkscape, I didn't know George and Ken. Now he's my tech god. I send him questions for everything. But when I first got into it, it was Scrappy Doo, I think, that I watched so much. Is it Scrappy Doo? And I watched his stuff a lot because now I don't know that he's done any modern Inkscape stuff. His stuff was kind of older, but I watched it way back when.
You can just watch Inkscape videos from non-crafters. Just search Inkscape and they'll teach you how to do it. They might not be showing how to do what we want to do, but you'll learn all the tools and how to use those tools in Inkscape. once you learn all the tools, then you can use it and make anything.
All right, C. Miller says that they love the idea of digital papers, but what do I do with them? He says, I'm exploring, or she said, I'm exploring Studio J. So do I print them out? Are they just for design? She's a little confused in why she would actually want them.
Well, let me say, on my little, right here, you can see my website. I make digital paper also, and you can get a free sample. Anyone can go there and click on catalog, and they're in alphabetical order by the names, and it's called sample. So you can go there and download the free sample for nothing. And you can do lots of things with them. We made this banner with the digital paper. You can, and Maymay's little nameplate is also done with the digital paper. But for crafting, you can print out the paper on your printer, and you can use it for anything. You can put it in the Cricut, or you can, not use the Cricut, or use it for scrapbook layouts or anything. You can also upload them into Cricut Design Space as a pattern fill, so you can fill. Oh, I have this card right here. I just did this card, and this paper. I'm looking backwards in my computer. But this pumpkin paper is one of my patterns. This is from the Halloween Elvira set. And then also in that set, you get a PNG for a cut file for this pumpkin. So you can upload that pumpkin, and it cut out the pumpkin. And it cut out, so instead of printing a whole piece of paper and then cutting it, I could upload the pattern into the Cricut, and instead of wasting the ink on a whole piece of paper, it only printed what, I have here. So you can use digital paper like any other paper, you just have to print it. Or you can upload it and use it digitally. You can use it on your banners for blogs or Facebook or anything.
And I'll be the first one to tell you, when Melody started doing her design, her digital paper, I was like, well, that's something I'll never use because I don't understand digital paper or why we would want it because I have so much real paper. But, and the other reason I was real leery is because my printer's just not great. I just have I think it's a Hewlett-Packard. I mean, I don't have anything fancy. And then Melody designed the paper she named after me. And so I was like, okay, we got to do this paper, right? So I used my printer, my regular home printer, on some really good cardstock, like not 110 pound because that won't feed through my printer well. I just used like a heavy, it might have been like 100 pound cardstock, and it was beautiful. And I think the reason I like digital paper so much is, like Melody said, like that banner, the banner we have behind us, when we created that I think we did that, where did we get that? Vistaprint, I think?
Yeah, that's where we got our banners.
So when we went to Vistaprint and we're building our banner,
we got our mugs.
we took Melody's paper that she had designed and loaded it as our background. So it's the digital part is really cool when you're doing stuff like Melody was talking about. I really like it now. I didn't think I would, but I do.
And Maymay asked me to do a black and white digital paper, and that's why I named that. Amy set is named after her, and it's all black and white, and you can use that to foil with too. You can print that on a laser printer, and then you can also use it to foil.
You have a tutorial for that.
You can't do that on regular, like if you had a pad of paper black and white, you can't foil on it. It's already printed.
And you can print the black and white version on colored paper.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Okay, Deborah asked, what printers do you recommend to do print then cut in digital paper?
Well, I'll tell you what we have is the Epson 7620. I think there's also a 7610 that a lot of people get too. That's a little bit cheaper. But I like it because it's 12 by 12. It will print the 8.5 by 11 with no border, so it's just like a regular paper. On the 12 by 12, it prints a tiny, tiny border around the whole thing. And if you wanted to use that, you could just cut off that border, but I've never had a problem with that border. And it will also cut cardstock and different things too. It has cardstock setting and everything. So that's why I like that. I haven't tried a lot of printers. We also have it's a Brother laser printer, but it's only black ink. And you can get the black laser printers pretty cheap. Those you'd use for foiling. But for the print and cut, that's just what I have, but almost any computer or almost any printer will work for the print and cut.
What I think you should do is, if like I don't have an expensive printer, I just have one of those combo deals, and I just change the quality of my print. That's what I try to, like if I don't want to have it on draft or whatever that one is, ink saver, you know. If you're doing something and you need a really pretty crisp image, change it to like photo quality or best, and you're going to get as good as your printer can do. And most printers, honestly, unless you're going to spend some money, do about the same thing as far as that is concerned. Just check your settings in your printer and make sure it's on best.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, Kathy asked, what font is that for your Maymay on the bottom left by your pick? She loves it.
It's from PicMonkey. Do you remember the name of it, Mel?
Lavendaria or something? Lavendaria
or something like that. We found it on PicMonkey. That's where we designed this. The wording was in PicMonkey and all that good stuff. So that is, and I'm probably saying it too fast, so let me slow down. It's PicMonkey.com. And if you want to change your photo editing world or any of that, that's the website. I love it. It's totally free unless you want to pay for the extra.
I have a video on the PicMonkey too where I show how you can use their fonts and stuff and make a clear image and save it as a PNG, and then you can upload that to Design Space.
That's my favorite feature about PicMonkey is I use that clear, it's actually a transparent canvas. I want to make sure I say that. I use that transparent canvas all the time. I bet you used it to do your little design right there on your screen.
Yeah, this I did in PicMonkey. It took less than 5 minutes this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This is kind of off Cricut, but someone asked earlier, Maymay, where does your name come from?
My nephew could not say Aunt Amy, and it just came out Maymay for whatever reason. But ironically, his daddy couldn't say Aunt Maisie, who was another aunt of mine, and he called her Aunt Maymay. And neither of them knew that about each other, so they both did that individually. So that's where it comes from. My nephew started that. I've been Maymay ever since, and I am Maymay to everybody that knows me pretty much.
Bernice said some of the markers that she has used that work great are from Recollections.
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 Fit and American Crafts Fit. Some of them look exactly like the Cricut pens. They're like, I don't know, but I'm guessing they're made from the same manufacturer, some of them, because they look completely alike.
Here's what I did. I want to tell you. You want some cheaper ones,
though. If you get the Recollections bold, the tip will not go down, so it has to be fine or medium.
If you want to find cheaper markers that will fit in your printer, take the one that comes with your Explorer to the store with you and open it and look at how it's shaped, because that's what matters, and the radius, I guess we'll say, or the dimension of it or whatever matters. Mm-hmm. So you pretty much, like I did this, I put this in my purse, took it with me to Walmart, and I found, because you know there's those Crazy Art brand or Crayola brand that work too, but not all of them, so you've got to make sure that it fits the same shape. That's how I find them. And listen, there are videos out there. I saw a girl that took a marker that didn't fit and she wrapped rubber bands around it until it was thick enough and then put it in the housing. Now, that's going to wiggle a bit, and that's why I was saying those little adapters give you that beautiful, crisp image. But yeah, use your marker as your guide. See how the shape is? Just pay attention to that. That'll help you find some good ones.
All right, that's all the questions I have so far.
Man, these have been awesome questions. I'm so impressed with you guys.
I'm reading the chat a little bit, and Anthony says, "I thought you said PicMonkey."
Sorry, it's my southern. If I was saying PicMonkey, I'd have said suey monkey, because in the South we just say suey.
Does anyone else have more questions?
And they don't have to be Cricut related.
Yeah, we can go on to other things if you want. Do you want to tell them about our show, and for the people that don't know about our show?
You're probably thinking that they match. Why did they do that? Well, we actually do match, but it's for our show that we do every other Monday, and we alternate channels. And while we're talking about that, I've had people ask me why we do that. Well, it makes sense for Melody and I to have it on our own channels versus starting a separate channel, because we can kind of it doesn't make any sense, but behind the scenes it's easier because we have to do these hangouts this way, so we alternate our channels. But it's on Mondays. It's at noon Eastern time. Ooh, that's hard for me to get used to. It's at noon Eastern time, and on that show, it's an hour-long show where we do lots of different things. We have craft news, we have a guest on our show, we have a craft project that we show you and then give you a tutorial for it, and then we chat with you guys through the whole time. Benny is our moderator, and we chat using him just like we're doing today. And next show is November 30th. Is that right?
Yes. Cyber Monday.
It's Cyber Monday, and guess who our guest is? Blitzy. I'm excited about that. That's a perfect guest for Cyber Monday, I think.
Yes. They're having some good Cyber Mondays. Well, and Black Friday deals too, but also Cyber Monday. And if they've missed the other two shows, there's a playlist. I know there's a playlist on my channel where they can find it. We had Ken Oliver of Colorburst, and, well, he makes the best ever craft mat and lots of products also. He was our first guest. That was our first show. And then we also had Gina K Designs on our last show this past Monday. And that was wonderful. We learned a lot of things, and I think it's just nice. And we are asking all of our guests to do a giveaway. So we have that giveaway only available for 24 hours after the show. So if you miss the show live, you still have a chance for the giveaway, but only 24 hours.
Did you see, by chance, this is kind of off subject, but did you see that beautiful blog post that Gina wrote? Did you get to see that after the show?
No, I didn't.
I'm going to tell y'all, I love the show because I get to meet these people and I get to know them in a different way. And I didn't really know her faith and things like that until the show. And she wrote her blog post, and she said she had the pleasure of being on our show. And one of the questions submitted was about how she juggles everything. So her blog post was all about that. And I just love her. I just relate to her.
Too. I couldn't believe everything that I learned about her. I didn't know that much about her in the beginning. I had not watched her videos until I moved in with Crafts by Two, and they were watching her. And I'm like, is this the person new? I've never seen her before. And I don't know why I've just never found her on YouTube until they introduced me to her, and then she does this every week.
I'll send you the link to that blog post so you can put it in the description. It's really, really good, and I'm impressed with her.
I want to see it.
Okay, all of a sudden we have a bunch of questions flying in, so let's go. Jessica asked, any tips on layering vinyl after cutting different colors?
I have a tip. What I do is put, there's a lot to this, but you have to attach your layer if you have different pieces in one color, but you only attach the one color, and put a star or some kind of a triangle or a shape, not a circle, but something that has different points in that color. And then when you have the other color in Design Space, also put a star in that color. So like the first layer, let's say, is red, and then the second layer is blue. So also make a blue star, exact same size, just copy it and change the color. Put it on top of that, and then hide the first layer of red, so you just have all the blue, and attach that. So then when you go to put it on something, you have to line up those stars, and if you know those stars are lined up properly, everything else will fall into place.
That's just making your own registration marks. That is brilliant.
And you could do one or two, you know, whatever you feel better. And then after you have that on there, don't press the stars on real hard and then peel them off.
Here's my tip. Do not see the finished project in your head and get bogged down. Look at it in layers. I always have to tell everybody, because we want that beautiful finished project and that's all we can see. But when we're layering vinyl, we've got to pay attention to every single layer, and when you're done, it'll be that beautiful project. But don't bog yourself down with, I'm never going to be able to get this done, because you will.
And try it. If you've never worked with vinyl or never layered it, try it with something small. Don't waste all your vinyl. Try it small and practice. Practice makes perfect.
And Tammy asked, where's the best place to buy vinyl in HTV?
There's so many places.
My favorite is expressionsvinyl.com. Here's what I like about them. I'm just going to say it. They're affordable. They have large quantity, small quantity. And I'll just tell y'all this. I don't make shirts out for anybody else. I have this rule. I make my glitter products for me, and I might make them as a gift, but I don't sell them because that's not something I can put into my time, but other people do. But if I were selling them, I could buy in quantity. But since I don't, and I just want to make one for me, I can buy it and spend $3 or $4 and not have to break the budget through them. I'm sure other stores do this too, but this is who I found, and I've stuck with them. The other thing I love is just about every day I get a coupon in my email, and it might be once a week. I don't know. It feels like every day. But I get a coupon for something different. And it's the best part is it's not some obscure item on their website. It's actually something I want to use, like glitter, HTV, or metallics, or I just love them. And I mean, I've bought from Cricut before. I love their stuff too, but I just would suggest the Expressions vinyl. I like them.
Yeah, and if you were doing it as a business, I know a lot of people are making vinyl projects. I would buy it in bulk.
It's much more affordable. Much more affordable. Hey, you know what they've done now too on the Expressions vinyl website? They've cleaned their website up, which I love, because it was a little confusing. But they've cleaned it up, and what I noticed is it seems like they've added an extra size of bundle. It seems like you have like a small, medium, large. Have you noticed that?
I haven't bought much vinyl lately, so I haven't been there lately. I have a ton of vinyl. I've also bought it from Amazon, where they have their packages. You get 30 sheets of all 12 by 12 of each different color for like $28. So
yeah, my aunt does that. She got hers from Amazon, but I just haven't yet.
But Cricut is really adding to their inventory, and there's a lot that I'm not allowed to say.
Oh, good.
That's all I can say. But you're going to like it, Maymay, from what you just said and talked about.
Okay, Beth says, every time I check into Cricut Design, I have to go through the download Adobe all the time. How do I get that to stop?
That is a setting on your computer. You need to allow, I think it's in your browser, that you need to go to the plugin settings and allow it. I'm not sure exactly what the settings are at this moment, but there's somewhere where you need to click always allow, because your browser is blocking that plugin.
On my Mac, now I don't know about Windows, but on my Mac, it's in the address bar. There's like a little, it looks like a castle. It's probably not, but it looks like a little castle, and if I click on that, I can say always allow, and that goes away. But I also want to tell you about a guy who does incredible techie tutorials like that.
I was just
last name. It's Troy, but what's his last name?
Troy Young, and it's TroyTube, I think, is his YouTube. But if you look up Troy Young, and he has lots of Cricut troubleshooting with computers. Like, I can tell you everything how to use Design Space, but behind the scenes of the computer, I don't know everything. But he seems to know everything about computers.
Yeah, Bobby mentioned him earlier as a great source for Inkscape also. All right, let's see. Where's my next question? We had one question. Are there plans to be able to cut larger prints in the print and cut section?
Yes, there are plans for that. I have cut because I'm a beta tester, but there's plans for that. That's all I can say.
Okay. Tony asked, when using the Make It Now projects in Design Space, and he says, I may not have one of the images. How can I modify and use a different image?
Can you read that question again?
I'm going to try. It says, when using the Make It Now projects in
I got you. Okay, I got you. That's the first part. When using a Make It Now project, or like if somebody shares a project, because I share my projects with the people who support me on Patreon, if they don't have an image, they can just go in and customize it and delete that image that they don't have. And if you're using a file like that from Make It Now or somebody's shared it with you, and it's asking you to pay, you can continue on, click continue and pay, and it will tell you what image you don't have or what they're charging you for. So you know which image to delete. So you can see what image it is, go ahead and click pay. You're not going to pay until they really make sure you know you're paying. So you're not paying by clicking that button. Then you can see what image you don't own, and you can choose to purchase if you want, or you can go back and delete that image and then save the project again, and then go back and find something similar. Like, because if it's like a heart or something, there's probably a heart that you own that you could replace it with, you know.
Do you have a video on that?
Probably.
The reason I ask is because I know Stacey Williams does, and
Okay.
that's how I learned that was from her. So check out her channel, because she does a Make It Now Monday where all of her videos, by the way, that's awesome. All of her videos on Monday are Make It Now projects from Design Space, and she teaches you a lot of little tips and tricks while doing that you might think, I don't want to make that project, but it's worth watching the video to learn what she's doing on the screen.
Yeah.
And any suggestions for getting vinyl on round objects?
I haven't done any vinyl on round objects, except for like maybe a mug, and I've never had any problems, so I really don't have I can't talk. See, this is the part where we edit out. I don't have any advice on that because I haven't done it.
There is in a Facebook group, but I can't remember which group, there was a video that someone did showing how to do that, and it was Troy. It was Troy, where he took the image, especially for like a shape, like what's this shape? This shape right here?
Yeah.
He kind of shows you how to fix it in Design Space for that, and I'm pretty sure he's done circle stuff. Check him out for that. I think he has.
Okay, Lisa asked, how do you know the weight of cardstock and vinyl? And then she says, am I missing something?
Cardstock weight is typically put on the packaging. I have found with paper packs, sometimes they won't put the weight on there, but what I do to overcome that is I kind of over time have learned, okay, this is either 65 pound or lighter. You really will be able to tell this, I promise. And you can tell if something is like 80 pound or 110 pound by the feel and by the sound of it. But typically it's on there. I don't have a package with me. Hold on, this one might have it.
Cricut paper is 80 pound, and the Recollections is 65 pound, I know. Recollections is from Michael's.
Like this Cartabella paper that I have, it does not tell me the weight of it, but I can tell that this is at least 80 pound because of how it reacts. So go to like the craft stores and look on the little thingies where they tell you the sizes and stuff, and just kind of get a feel for it. Maybe pick up some 65 pounds, some 80 pounds, some 100, some 110. Anytime somebody talks about layering weight, like if you're buying from someone online, a layering weight is going to typically be 80 pound and smaller, like lighter, 80 pound, 65, like that. And if they talk about a base weight, like Gina's is a heavy base weight. Didn't she say hers is 120 pounds?
Oh, yeah, my order from her just shipped, so.
Oh, good. But yeah, you'll get a feel for it. And here's the thing, please remember, this is my favorite thing to say, it is only paper. If you buy it and you cut it and it doesn't work, take out another piece. It's just paper, so just get used to the feel of it. Because when I first started paper crafting, to be honest, I haven't been a paper crafter for very long, like 5 years.
Yeah, I haven't been one that long.
Okay, here's a question. How can you tell when Oracle, I guess I'm saying that right, is authentic? He said, I bought some off eBay, and it's very hard to pick up with transfer tape.
I agree with you about knowing when it's authentic. I don't like that their back doesn't say Oracle. So, and here's what's interesting, and I could be wrong, correct me, this is live, I don't know. It seems like a while ago when I ordered it, it said Oracle on the back, like it had like a watermark. But this last bit that I ordered, it didn't say, and so I wasn't, and I kind of was like you, wondering about that. What I would suggest, and everybody may not love this, but I wouldn't buy it from a place where I couldn't get a guarantee, because Oracle is expensive. I mean, not like, it's not going to break the bank, but it is more expensive, and I want to know I'm getting quality product. I don't think there's any way to tell the difference. And I'll say this to you, this last order I placed, I ordered like 5 or 6 different colors of Oracle vinyl, and they felt different from each other to me. So I think I would just purchase from a place I know I can trust.
Yeah, I don't do anything or much stuff that's crafty at all, but I know when I'm purchasing stuff on eBay, I try to buy stuff from the people that have a lot of positive responses, because, there's a lot of people out there crooked that are putting out false or fake stuff and trying to sell it for, the real thing, so you just have to watch that. Sheila asked, when will they alphabetize the images in my project section?
I don't have an answer. I hope soon. Although I don't know that I want them all alphabetized, I would rather have folders to put them in. Because right now they're in order of when they're saved, and if there's some files that you use often, like I have one called Card Base, where it's just a card base and then I make other ones from it, I'll just save it again once in a while and it'll take it back up to the top.
I'm like her. I wouldn't hate alphabetized, because at least then if I was searching for something and I knew the name, I wouldn't have to go through every single file. But I'm also like you. I would really love some organization. Yeah.
But the reason I'm not so sure about alphabetized is because I don't know. I would think they'd give us an option, though. I wouldn't know the names of them. I would have to relook at all the names and make sure, they're named exactly where I could find them.
I think for those of us who, like, I organize a lot of things in alphabetical order, like on my computer. Like, I'll put A in the name of the video, B, so I can find them later. So I kind of feel her pain.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. A lot of people are giving suggestions, or at least I think these are suggestions, for putting the vinyl on round objects. Cheryl says, as strange as it seems, duck drywall tape, because of the mesh, allows the vinyl to bend. It says start in the center of the image and work your way out, but it works great. So
that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right.
Yeah, I think when doing vinyl and something round, you would start in the middle no matter what you're using for transfer tape. You would bend it so only the middle is going and then go out. I would think that would work. Right.
It's going to depend on for me, it depends on the curve of the object, because if I start in the middle, you know what happens. It's just like if you put tape on something, it starts to wrinkle to fit, because you're putting flat on round. It makes sense. Yeah. I see what she's saying about the drywall tape, because it's not held so firmly in place that it doesn't kind of give as it moves. I can see how that could help, but even with that, still, I would suggest, this is what I would do if I were doing round. I would find something that's large so that I have lots of space, or I would try to stay away from little tiny round things unless I had tiny images,
Yeah.
A lot of people are giving the Troy tube some pretty good props, so sounds like he's a very good avenue of support.
I'm a fan.
Let's see.
Maybe we should have him on the show, Mel. Right off the cuff, that's what we're saying.
Oh, and if you guys are interested in our show, you should join our Facebook group, This Crafty Life Live. Just search that on Facebook. And we have a group where we announce our next guest, and you can ask questions, and, we give the tips and links and things for the contest.
Yeah, lots of people are giving us tips on the round thing, so that's good. Thanks for everybody chipping in on that idea.
Hey, you know what? While you're saying that, be sure to come, once the video goes live on Melody's channel, be sure to go put those tips in the comment section, because we lose the chat. Like, the chat's only here during the live, and everybody else is going to want to see that. So please, if you have a tip for that, go back to Melody's comments under the video and put your tip in so everybody can see that.
And so we had a question, Maymay. Where did you get your pick tool, P-I-C-K tool?
Oh, this one. Oh gosh, it's bent. I bent it somehow. Let's fix it right here live on TV. Okay. This guy, love this dude. I bend stuff all the time, but I got this a while back, and I could not find this on a store to link you guys to it. I have looked and looked and looked. However, I have found it, and it will be coming to my store because it is one of Maymay's favorite things. And if you haven't heard, we're expanding the Maymay store to include the Maymay's favorite things, and this is one of them. It is awesome. But let me tell you something. I know that I pick this one up all the time, but the Tim Holtz craft pick is really the same thing, except this one doesn't retract. Tim's retracts, or it's tonic or Tim's. So if you can only find that one, it's still good. I never use this side here. This is like a spatula side, and I never use that side, really. But this side, I use all the time. And if you just can find the Tim Holtz, it's called a craft pick. That one works just fine, too. But that one's coming to my store because I love it.
And what's the name of the Facebook group again?
This Crafty Life Live. If you look at Maymay's little thing right here at the bottom of the page, it says This Crafty Life Live, and the banner's behind us.
Bobby says having him on the show is a great idea. Please get him.
Okay, you guys go tell him to ask us. Go say, Troy, you need to contact them and be on their show.
You can also email us at thiscraftylife@gmail.com.
Let us know your suggestions. We loved it. We want the show to be what you guys want, and we've got a lot of fun things that we're always trying to do some fun stuff to make it fun, but we want to do what you want. So send us your emails and your suggestions and tell us, like I said earlier, there is no stupid suggestion. I promise. It's all creativity. Vinny?
I don't have any more questions. We're caught up.
Very good. This has been a really fun. I even learned stuff that I didn't know. Mel, did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes, I did. I was trying to look at some of the comments and stuff. So everybody go and click like on the video. You can thumbs it up right now and leave comments afterwards because, like Maymay said, once the show's over, these comments are gone.
And I want to ask you guys, I want to ask you to comment below, not in the chat, comment below if you would enjoy, and I haven't asked Melody, but I'll ask her, and if she's not interested, I'll do it. But I would like to kind of do something like this periodically with different themes like we did today, where today was Cricut chat. Maybe we do an hour-long show where we take other things. Maybe you guys are really interested in paper crafting, or you're really interested in scrapbooking or whatever, and you want to come and ask us questions, and we're not experts, but it helps us, it sharpens us too. So if you want to do something like that, not every week by no means, but maybe whenever we've gotten a lot of questions like this, we can do that. A couple more things I want to tell you. Be sure if you're interested in a Cricut Explore, a Cricut Expression, a Cricut anything, a Cricut Air, Explore Air, be sure that you start looking at those Black Friday ads now, because some places are actually selling them at the cheaper price now, and go ahead and jump on that. By the way, we didn't mention this, but I think we should. Melody, would you take just a second and explain the difference between the Explore 1, the Explore, and the Explore Air?
Yeah. The Explorer, the original Explorer, has two heads that you can write and score, or no, two heads that you can cut, and one head you can cut, one head to write or score at the same time with one pass. The Cricut Explore Air also has that, and it has a Bluetooth built in. The original Cricut Explorer, you can buy an adapter for about $25. So then they would be about the same machine.
Here's my adapter.
Hold on, let me get it on you. Okay, yeah. So it's normally $49.99, but you can get it for $25. Don't ever pay full price.
The base, and what she's telling you here, which I get this question all the time, the Cricut Explorer and the Cricut Explorer Air are virtually the same machine with the exception of Wi-Fi. One has built-in Wi-Fi, one gets this little adapter. That's it.
Yeah. They have tweaked the machine because the Cricut Explorer Air is a newer machine, and you don't have to calibrate it like you do the the original Cricut Explorer. So they've changed that, and it's a little bit easier to set up, but it's really no problem at all for the original one either. So there's not a big difference. And the Cricut Explorer 1 only has one head. So you have to take out the blade to score or write, and you have to buy an adapter to fit the pen and the score tool. But it's only $10, and it includes a really nice pen.
Can the Explorer 1 be Wi-Fi?
Yes, it can be Wi-Fi with the adapter also. And you don't need the adapter unless you're using the mobile apps. Or you can have even the Explorer Air, if you don't have Bluetooth on your computer, you can still use the cord. You get the cord also. So you get the cord and the Bluetooth built in on the Explorer Air. But to use the mobile apps, you need Bluetooth.
I used my cord for the longest time because I couldn't figure out my Bluetooth until finally George said, would you please go do this? And I did this in my computer. You know, I fixed the Bluetooth. I turned my Bluetooth on because it was off, and now it works. So, but I use my cord because I use my laptop right next to my machine, so it's no big deal.
Oh, and I also want to say I made a 2-hour-long video on everything you need to know about Cricut Design Space. It's the complete guide. In the description of the video is a link to take you to 2 indexes. So one index is by where it's at in the video, like it's where each one starts, and then the second index is like you can like look at slice, and then it shows you everywhere in the video where slice is mentioned and how to do it. And that video will help you feel more comfortable if you've never opened your box. And you know, I teach you things so you know them by the end of the video, and then if you need a refresher later on, you can go back to the index and click on the part you want to be refreshed on.
It was really cool when Melody told me she was doing that. I was like, and she's like, this video, I have like 5 hours of footage, and I'm trying to shrink it down, and I was like, oh my gosh, that'll be so long to watch. And then she showed me what she was doing with her indexing, and it's brilliant because I can go to that video if I'm trying to weld something, and I can just skip to that time in the video. I don't even have to do that. Her index, you just click on it, and it takes you to where she's discussing welding. It's like a dictionary for the Explorer. That's what it, or even a glossary. Let's say a glossary. And I am so impressed with that. She put a lot of love into that, and so you guys check that out. If you have any questions, that's going to answer your questions.
Yeah, there's a link to that in the description of this video, and it goes by really fast. Like you might think, oh my God, 2 hours, but I started watching it one day, and I'm like, I got lost in it. Especially after the first 45 minutes, it goes really fast. I have arrows pointing. There's no pauses. Everything is cut out. Like even just a tiny pause is cut out or waiting for anything. It's all cut. So it completely goes one after the other. And so that's to put the index in there so you can rewatch parts that you really need to understand. And I also tell you in the video to pause the video and go try this on Design Space. You need to learn something, and then you need to do it yourself in Design Space and make sure you know how to do it. That's the best way to learn, is trying.
So please go subscribe to our channels, Melody Lane and also Maymay Made It. And Vince, any more questions before we hang up?
Yep, we got some more.
All right.
Got a few more minutes to answer.
Yep.
All right. Tea Time with Grammy wants to know, what do you actually use transfer vinyl for? And if she's wanting to, or is that something that she could use to put an item on a pillowcase?
Transfer vinyl is the clear layer that is not as sticky as the vinyl itself, so that when you place that, it's so you can look through it and put it where you want it, burnish it down, and then peel that clear layer away, leaving your vinyl in place. The thing that makes it work is the stickiness of the vinyl. So if your fabric or whatever you're putting on a pillow is not sticky enough to grab while you pull away the transfer, it's not going to work. However, If you're using an iron-on product, it does work. And for me, the iron-on products I've used kind of have a built-in transfer tape. So you put the product down, iron it, I put a cloth on it, iron it, and then peel the back or that clear transfer off, and the item stays on fabric that you could then turn into a pillow, or you can iron it on a pillow, especially if you have a heat press. You can put a pillow in there and squish it down, no problem. Mel, what do you think?
Yeah, and because I think what she's talking about is transfer paper, explaining too, but there is like some transfer stuff that is iron-on, and I don't know if that's what she meant also.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
The next question was, what's the difference between transfer tape and vinyl tape?
I think it's the same thing.
But typically transfer product is not as sticky and it's clear, or either it's got a grid or something you can see through. That's the reason it's the transfer product is because it's not the one that's going to stay behind permanently, and then your vinyl is going to come in different adhesives. You're going to have outdoor, indoor, permanent, removable. So your transfer tape's pretty much one deal. It's help you peel it off, but your vinyl's going to come in different stickiness or different long-term or short-term kind of stickiness.
You can also use clear contact paper to transfer your vinyl.
Okay, let's see. Next question. Wow, we had a lot come in here just the last few minutes.
Oh no, that's good though.
I see one, how to do curved text. Right now there's not a feature to do that in Design Space, but I do it a lot. I show it in a few of my videos where you can just put a circle and you can shape the circle however you want your curve to be, and then you have to separate the letters. You ungroup them, and then you just place them where you want them on the circle, and it'll be a nice curve exactly how you want it, and then you delete the circle.
Okay, have you guys cut the Cricut washi tape in the sheets?
Yes, I have. And there's a washi tape setting. It cuts really easy. It's really nice.
I have not.
Yeah, I'm just flipping through to make sure I don't miss anything.
Someone's asking Maymay to mention her store location.
Okay. Oh, wait. My website or my new opening soon location?
Both.
The website is right now, it is Etsy, and I made it on Etsy, but in January we are going to roll out the new MaymayMadeIt.com, which will be all inclusive. We're working on that behind the scenes. You see the stress on Vince's face right now. And the new location we're really excited about. We have secured a location in our area that's pretty central in Alabama for folks, and that location will now house Maymay Made It. It will house the shipping department. It will house Vinny's Vittles. It will house everything, and we have a classroom in there where we're going to be able to do craft classes. And so I'll be releasing a calendar, and you guys can kind of schedule your time around. Now, we're in a very hometowny location. Like we're wanting to. Here's my thing. I believe in buying local and supporting us little shops like we are. So we wanted to do that in our town too. We wanted to rent from a local person, and we wanted to support our hotels and things like that. So if you guys are interested in coming, there are hotels, and we're a cute little town you can come stay in. But yeah, we're really excited, and we're really nervous. So I'm not sure if you're talking about both of those locations, but Maymay Made It online. The store is at Etsy right now.
All right, that's all the questions, ladies.
This has been fun. I appreciate you guys coming out. Like I said, answer those questions in the comments. The links to everything we can possibly remember to put will be in the description, but if we miss something, put it into the comments, and that'll kind of remind us to go stick it in the description for everybody. And I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Go enjoy this we have beautiful fall weather here. I hope you're having something wintry at least so you can get in the Christmas spirit. How about you, Mel?
Yeah, I think it's sunny today. It's been nice. We haven't had any snow or anything, but I'm in Rochester, New York, for those that don't know, but there's been snow in Arizona.
Yeah.
So I thought we haven't had anything. It hasn't been that cold here yet.
All right, guys, so until next time, we don't have a schedule for this. We'll see what you guys say in the comments. If you like it, we'll do some more of these. Until next time, check us out at This Crafty Life Live on Facebook, Melody Lane on YouTube, Maymay Made It on YouTube. We're both Maymay Made It or Melody Lane everywhere. Like, you'll find us. Yeah, so Melody Lane Designs, Maymay Made It, you'll find us like that. Thanks so much for coming in today, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.